What's up guys, what's up girls, Richard here. I'm just joking guys, shout out to Jeremy though. So in this video we're going to be checking out the entire fragrance line from Pete and Pedro. Let's go. Now full disclosure, the Pete and Pedro team did reach out and provide product for this review, but that does not influence my opinion about the products whatsoever. And no, this is not one of those sponsored videos that are disguised as a review. I came across a couple of those videos and it just totally defeats the purpose of calling it a review. But anyways, let's get to it. Now for the sake of time, I'm not gonna read all of the notes of each fragrance. You guys can read that online. I'm just gonna jump into what I think consumers care about most when shopping for a fragrance. So each fragrance is EDP concentrated and comes in a 1.7 ounce bottle, and I gave each fragrance a day in order to get a real feel about performance, smell, and longevity. Now let's start off with the first release and the most hyped one out there, Rebel. Now this one was inspired by the ever so popular Creed Aventus, and I got to say, for a clone quotation, as some would say, the opening is very close to a Creed Aventus. Now upon first spray you pick up a heavy dose of bergamot, and I do actually pick up the pineapple note on this one compared to smelling other clones out there in the market. But if I were to compare it to an actual Aventus, I would say that this one does not have any of that smokiness or musk that Aventus has. Now this could be a good thing because those two notes are not very appealing to some, especially musk, which could be a little too animalistic. This one has a much more fruity and slightly woody nuance during the dry down. So by not having that smokiness or musk, younger people may be able to pull off this fragrance as well. But that doesn't mean that this is only for young people. This is just an overall great masculine scent. No, I'm very surprised by how close they got the opening, because I do own a clone and the opening on this one is not the best. It smells more like a lemon than pineapple, and it has like this wood cleaner smell to it for about like the first 20 minutes. Now performance and longevity wise, I didn't get much, unfortunately. For me it became a skin scent in a matter of 3 hours, and sillage projection was around a good hour. I did have to reapply with this one. Next up is King, which was inspired by green Irish tweed. Now this stuff is on a different level compared to Rebel. Now the initial spray starts off very fresh and green, and just wow, let me tell you that it's very piercing up close. Like, it's so sharp, even just like an arm length away, like it's super sharp. But once you give it a little time to settle, I started to get a more florals and a slight plum note, which is not very common in a men's fragrance. I do pick up a bit of that musk with that sandalwood during the dry down, but just like Rebel, it has a very similar opening to Creed, but it evolves into its own DNA while still having those green Irish tweed characteristic, if that makes sense. Performance and longevity. Okay, I'm gonna warn you guys right now, if you buy this fragrance, go easy on the trigger, because this stuff is very sharp, it's very strong, and it lasts about 8 hours plus to the next morning. This one does outperform this clone right here, which I'm sure many of you guys know what this one is. I would say that it is a bit more, this one is a bit more balanced and not as sharp as King. Also doesn't have much projection as well. Last but not least, we have Hero, which was inspired by Aqua di Gio. Now this scent profile, it just brings back so much memories when I was younger, and at the same time it doesn't smell dated at all, and I think this is the most versatile scent out there for men. I don't really have to describe this DNA scent to you, but I do because it's a review. But it's a fresh, citrusy, aquatic scent that is just so well blended. I think this would have to be my favorite one. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but it is a bit more juicy than Aqua di Gio with a tad bit more spice and zest to it. It does remind me of this 360 Red by Perry Ellis Red, but on steroids. Performance and longevity is just beast on this thing. Once again, go easy on the trigger. I also get a good 8 hours plus on this one with slightly less heavy projection compared to King, which is very good for a fresh aquatic fragrance. So as for my final thoughts, I think Hero would be my first choice out of the three due to its longevity and scent profile that's just so timeless. Now I will go with Rebel as my second choice just because the opening is much better than this clone right here, and I could use this for, you know, whenever I want to apply something that's just a bit more subtle, maybe for a close encounter or a professional setting. Which leaves King as last. Like I said, it's a bit too sharp for me, but it's one hell of a beast in the performance category. If you want the strongest scent for spring, go with this one. So who is this for? Well, I'll first tell you who it's not for. It's not for fragrance snobs or enthusiasts that care about batch numbers, perfumers, what country the oil came from, bottle design, etc. This is for a dude, you know, like me and you watching, who just want a fragrance that smells good, that's, you know, relatively inexpensive and can make a great first impression on those spicy senoritas, as Aaron would say. And that's like the whole premise of Aaron's channel. He takes out the guesswork on dressing yourself by introducing, you know, classic staple pieces. And now he's like eliminating all the guesswork with fragrances by offering you, you know, mass appealing scents that stood the test of time. But, you know, props to them for putting their own spin on these and not making an exact copy. Now, I do have some feedback though. I would like to see a fall and winter scent down the line. I think we got spring and summer covered already. Where are the sweet, spicy fragrances, Aaron? This spicy senor would like a fall and winter scent soon, and I'm sure the spicy senoritas would also appreciate one as well. But anyways, guys, hopefully this video was helpful. And they also did give me a code to share with you to get 15% off your order. I'll make sure to leave all the info in the description. And I want to thank Pete and Pedro again for reaching out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.